Ladies and gentlemen, there is a calling on your life, a purpose designed by the Creator Himself. But hear me today. There are things you must let go of before you can step into your destiny. Many people pray for success, for breakthroughs, for a new level in life, but they hold on to habits that keep them bound. You cannot soar while clinging to weights. So today I want to share with you 6 habits you must quit. 6 things that are keeping you from walking in the fullness of your potential. Excuses are the language of the uncommitted. The moment you start justifying why you can't do something, you have already lost the battle. Life will never give you ideal conditions. If you wait for the perfect time, you will never begin. Stop saying, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough education, or I don't have enough support. The greatest men and women in history started with nothing but a vision and an unwavering commitment to pursue it. Many people are trapped not by the chains of others, but by their own memories. They replay old failures, old hurts, and old disappointments. Let me tell you something. You cannot drive forward while looking in the rearview mirror. The past is a place of reference, not residence. Learn from it, but do not let it define your future. You cannot be free until you take responsibility for your own life. Some people blame their parents, their teachers, their government, even their enemies for where they are today. But let me tell you the truth. Your life is a product of your decisions, not your conditions. When you stop blaming and start owning your choices, you take back the power to change your life. Self-doubt is the killer of destiny. The greatest enemy to your success is not the devil, not your critics, not even your circumstances. It is your own mind. As a man thinks, so is he. You cannot afford to entertain thoughts of failure, mediocrity, or fear. You were designed with greatness inside of you. It's time to believe in yourself the way your Creator believes in you. Every person in this room has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is how they use their time. Some people spend hours scrolling through social media, watching television, or engaging in meaningless conversations. Time is life. When you waste time, you waste your future. Invest in yourself. Read, learn, build. Time is the currency of destiny. Spend it wisely. If you surround yourself with doubters, complainers, and people who have no vision, they will drain your energy and steal your dreams. You cannot soar like an eagle if you are hanging around chickens. Find people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. The right environment will fuel your growth, and the wrong one will kill it. My friends, success is not a mystery. Your future is determined by your habits. If you let go of these 6 things, excuses, the past, blame, self-doubt, time wasting, and negative company, you will unlock doors you never imagined possible. Your destiny is calling. The question is, are you ready to answer? Excuses are the language of the uncommitted. They are the words spoken by those who have chosen comfort over growth, fear over faith, and hesitation over action. When a person begins to make excuses, they are, in effect, declaring that their circumstances are greater than their ability to change. Excuses are the great justifiers of inaction. They allow a person to remain in the same place while convincing themselves that they have a valid reason for doing so. However, the reality is that as long as excuses are present, progress will always be absent. Every great achievement in life requires a decision to take full responsibility. Until a person recognizes that they are in control of their own destiny, they will always find a reason why success is out of reach. Some will blame their upbringing, saying they were born into poverty, raised in dysfunction, or lacked the support that others had. While these conditions may be real, they are not insurmountable. History is filled with stories of men and women who rose from the lowest positions in life to accomplish incredible things. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not circumstances, it is mindset. People often say they do not have enough money to pursue their dreams. They believe that financial limitation is the reason they cannot start a business, go to school, or build the life they desire. But money has never been the key ingredient to success. Vision is the key. There are people who started with nothing but an idea and a relentless commitment to making it a reality. Money follows vision, not the other way around. Those who wait for financial abundance before they begin will wait forever. The world does not reward those who wait, it rewards those who create. Others claim they do not have enough education or the right qualifications to succeed. They assume that their lack of formal training disqualifies them from making a meaningful impact. But some of the greatest innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs in history had little to no formal education. What they had was a willingness to learn, to grow, and to adapt. Knowledge is available to anyone who seeks it. Books, mentors, and experiences are all sources of education that do not require a degree. The greatest teacher in life is action. Those who take steps forward will always learn more than those who sit still. Some people blame their lack of support. They say that no one believes in them, no one helps them, and no one gives them opportunities. They wait for someone to open a door for them instead of building a door themselves. The truth is, no one owes you anything. If you want success, you must take responsibility for creating it. Many of the most successful people in the world started alone, without applause, without encouragement, and without approval. They pushed forward despite rejection. They kept going despite opposition. Eventually, their results spoke louder than their critics. Time is another common excuse. People say they do not have enough time to pursue their dreams, yet they find time for entertainment, distractions, and meaningless activities. The truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between success and failure is how those hours are spent. Those who are truly committed to their goals make time, not excuses. They wake up earlier, stay up later, and eliminate distractions. They understand that time is the most valuable resource and they invest it wisely. Fear is another excuse disguised as logic. Many people convince themselves that they are being realistic, when in reality, they are simply afraid to fail. They hesitate, overanalyze, and wait for the perfect conditions. But there is no such thing as perfect conditions. Waiting for everything to be right before taking action is just another way of avoiding responsibility. The only way to overcome fear is to move forward despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of it. Excuses are comfortable. They allow a person to stay where they are without feeling guilty about it. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Nothing great was ever accomplished inside a comfort zone. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every transformation requires stepping into the unknown. Those who make excuses avoid discomfort, but in doing so, they also avoid progress. Growth is painful, but so is staying the same. The question is, which pain will you choose? Some people justify their excuses by pointing to their past failures. They say, I tried before and it didn't work. They allow one setback to define their entire future. But failure is not final. Every person who has ever succeeded has also failed many times. The difference is that successful people use failure as a lesson, while unsuccessful people use it as an excuse. The past does not dictate the future unless you allow it to. Every new day is an opportunity to try again with more wisdom, more experience, and more determination. The greatest tragedy is not a lack of opportunity, it is a lack of initiative. There are people with incredible potential who never do anything with it because they are too busy explaining why they can't. They spend their time defending their limitations instead of breaking through them. They have a reason for everything, why they can't start, why they can't continue, why they can't succeed, but in the end, all they have are excuses, while others have results. Responsibility is the key to transformation. The moment a person decides to take full ownership of their life, everything changes. No longer do they wait for permission, for perfect conditions, or for someone else to do the work. They realize that their future is in their hands. They stop making excuses and start making adjustments. They stop blaming others and start focusing on what they can control. They take charge of their habits, their time, and their mindset. There is power in responsibility. It is the foundation of all great achievements. When a person stops making excuses, they start finding solutions. They begin to see possibilities instead of problems. They develop resilience, creativity, and perseverance. They become unstoppable. No setback can hold them back, no obstacle can defeat them, and no failure can define them. The world does not listen to excuses. It listens to results. The people who make an impact are those who refuse to be limited by circumstances. They find a way where others see a wall. They push forward when others stop. They take risks when others hesitate. They do not waste time explaining why something cannot be done. They simply go and do it. There will always be reasons not to start. There will always be justifications for staying where you are, but the reality is that nothing changes until you change. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, you step into a new level of power. You realize that success is not about luck, background, or circumstances. It is about commitment, discipline, and action. Those who succeed in life are not the most talented, the most educated, or the most privileged. They are the ones who refuse to make excuses. They take what they have, no matter how little, and they use it to build something great. They understand that excuses only sound good to the person making them. They refuse to be a prisoner of their own limitations. Your life is a result of your choices. Every excuse you make takes you further from your goals, while every step you take in responsibility brings you closer. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be is the number of excuses you are willing to eliminate. The question is not whether success is possible. The question is whether you are willing to do what it takes. You cannot drive forward while looking in the rearview mirror. Too many people are held captive by their past, trapped in memories that weigh them down like chains. They replay old failures, relive past mistakes, and allow regrets to dictate their present. The past was meant to be a place of reference, not a place of residence. When a person holds on to what was, they forfeit what could be. They carry baggage that was never meant to travel with them into the future, and in doing so, they slow themselves down. There are people who wake up every day with a desire to move forward, but their minds are still anchored to something behind them. They dwell on moments of shame, rejection, and disappointment. They remind themselves of every wrong turn they ever made, every person who ever hurt them, and every opportunity they missed. But no matter how much they think about it, they cannot change what has already happened. The past is fixed, but the future is still in motion. Holding on to the past does not change it. It only delays progress. Some people hold on to past failures, using them as proof that they are not capable of achieving more. They tried once and it didn't work, so they convince themselves that it never will. They allow a single moment of defeat to define their entire identity. But failure is not final unless a person chooses to accept it as such. The most successful individuals in history failed more times than they succeeded. The difference is that they did not allow those failures to determine their future. They learned from them, adjusted, and kept moving forward. A person who refuses to move beyond their past failures is like a driver who refuses to take their foot off the brake. They have the ability to move, but they are actively preventing themselves from doing so. Others are imprisoned by past pain. Someone betrayed them, someone hurt them, someone let them down, and they cannot seem to let go of it. They carry wounds that have never been allowed to heal because they continue to pick at them with thoughts of resentment and bitterness. They replay conversations, imagining what they could have said or done differently. They hold on to anger as if it will somehow undo the damage that was done. But the truth is that pain cannot be undone by holding on to it. The only way to truly move forward is to release it. There are also those who are held back by past successes. They accomplished something great once, and now they live in the memory of that moment instead of striving for something greater. They tell the same stories over and over again, not because they are inspiring others, but because they have nothing new to share. They have allowed themselves to become comfortable, believing that their best days are behind them. But greatness is never found in looking backward. The moment a person stops pursuing growth, they begin to decline. What was once a great achievement eventually becomes an excuse for stagnation. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be a prison. A person who constantly looks back will never see the opportunities that are ahead of them. Their perspective is limited to what has already been rather than what could be. They operate out of fear rather than faith, out of doubt rather than expectation. They assume that because something happened before, it will happen again. They build walls around themselves, trying to protect themselves from future pain, but in doing so, they also block out future possibilities. People often think that letting go means forgetting, but that is not true. Letting go means refusing to allow the past to control the present. It means acknowledging what happened, learning from it, but choosing not to be defined by it. The past may have shaped a person, but it does not have to dictate where they go next. Every new day is an opportunity to start fresh, to make a new decision, to take a new path. But that cannot happen if a person is still holding on to yesterday. Some people struggle to move forward because they believe they need closure. They think that if they could just get an apology, if they could just understand why something happened, then they would finally be able to let it go. But closure is a myth. There are things in life that will never make sense, things that will never be explained, and things that will never be made right. A person cannot wait for closure to move on. They must decide to move on regardless. The power to heal is not in the hands of the past. It is in the decision to focus on the future. Growth requires movement. A person cannot grow if they are constantly looking back at what was. Imagine a runner in a race who keeps turning their head to see what's behind them. They will lose momentum. They will slow down, and eventually they will be overtaken. Life is the same way. Those who keep looking back at past failures, past pain, or even past victories will never reach their full potential. They will be stuck in a cycle of reflection instead of progression. The weight of the past is heavy, but it is a weight that a person can choose to put down. No one can erase what has already happened, but they can decide how much power they give it over their life. Every second spent dwelling on the past is a second that could have been used to create a better future. The choice is simple. Hold on to what was or embrace what could be. Your destiny is determined by your habits. Every person's future is shaped not by what they wish for, not by what they dream of, but by what they repeatedly do. Habits are the silent architects of success or failure, the invisible forces that shape character, direction, and outcomes. A person does not rise to the level of their goals, they fall to the level of their habits. What they do daily determines what they will become permanently. The small, seemingly insignificant choices made every day compound over time, either building a foundation for greatness or creating a slow path to destruction. Some people believe that their destiny is determined by fate, by external circumstances beyond their control. They assume that success is reserved for those who were born into the right family, given the right opportunities, or placed in the right environment. But history has proven otherwise. Many of the most successful individuals came from nothing. They were not born into privilege, they were not handed opportunities, and they faced obstacles that should have crushed them. The difference was their habits. They cultivated discipline, resilience, and consistency in the small things, and over time, those small things became the pillars of their success. The habits a person chooses to develop will either elevate them or destroy them. Success is never an accident. It is a direct result of intentional habits practiced over time. Likewise, failure is never a single event. It is the outcome of small negative habits repeated consistently. A person who wastes time daily will one day find themselves wondering where all their years went. A person who makes excuses daily will wake up one morning realizing that they have built nothing worthwhile. But a person who disciplines themselves, who wakes up early to work on their craft, who refuses to settle for mediocrity, will find themselves rising above those who simply wished for success. Many people admire the achievements of great individuals, but few are willing to examine the daily habits that produce those achievements. They see the public victories, but not the private disciplines. They see the rewards, but not the sacrifices. Every great athlete, entrepreneur, or leader has a set of habits that govern their life. They practice when no one is watching, they study when others are relaxing, and they push themselves when they feel like quitting. They do not rely on motivation. Because motivation is fleeting, they rely on discipline, which is built through habit. Habits dictate character. A person does not suddenly become honest, hardworking, or disciplined overnight. These traits are the result of daily decisions to act in a certain way. Likewise, a person does not suddenly become lazy, dishonest, or unreliable in one moment. These are the results of repeated actions, of small compromises made day after day. No one wakes up and suddenly ruins their life. It happens gradually through habits that go unchecked. The difference between those who fulfill their potential and those who do not is not talent, intelligence, or background. It is consistency. The person who reads and learns daily will always surpass the person who only gains knowledge when they feel like it. The person who exercises discipline in their work even when they do not see immediate results, will always outperform the person who only works hard when it is convenient. Small, consistent actions produce massive results over time. Some people desire success, but their habits betray them. They say they want to be wealthy, but their spending habits reflect poverty. They say they want to be healthy, but their eating and exercise habits reflect carelessness. They say they want to be great, but their daily actions reflect mediocrity. A person's true desires are not in what they say, they are in what they do consistently. If someone truly desires to be successful, they will cultivate habits that align with that vision. Success leaves clues. The most accomplished individuals in any field have habits that set them apart. They wake up earlier than most. They plan their days with intention. They invest in continuous learning, and they discipline themselves in areas where others are careless. They eliminate distractions. They set goals, and they take action, even when they do not feel like it. These habits are not glamorous. They are often tedious and unexciting, but they are the foundation of greatness. Likewise, failure leaves clues. Those who never rise above mediocrity have habits that keep them bound. They procrastinate, they make excuses, they indulge in distractions, and they avoid discomfort. They live reactively, responding to life rather than creating it. They waste time on entertainment while others are building. They seek comfort instead of growth. They hope for a better future, but their habits pull them further away from it. Many people assume that small, negative habits do not matter. They tell themselves that skipping one workout, spending 1 hour on social media, or procrastinating for one day is insignificant. But habits are like seeds. A single action may seem small, but when repeated over time, it grows into something much larger. A person who neglects discipline for one day will find it easier to neglect it the next. A person who tolerates laziness in small areas will eventually see it take over their entire life. What is practiced daily becomes a lifestyle. Habits also determine mindset. A person who regularly reads, challenges themselves, and engages in meaningful work will develop a mindset of growth and possibility. They will see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and obstacles as stepping stones. On the other hand, a person who indulges in negativity, surrounds themselves with complaining individuals, and avoids difficult tasks will develop a mindset of limitation and fear. They will see challenges as threats, failures as proof of their inadequacy, and obstacles as reasons to quit. The way a person thinks is shaped by what they consistently expose themselves to. There is no shortcut to success. There is no magic formula, no secret technique that replaces hard work and discipline. A person who desires greatness must be willing to cultivate habits that align with that vision. They must be willing to do what others will not do. They must be willing to wake up early when others are sleeping, to study when others are entertained, and to persist when others quit. Your habits are the blueprint of your future. They are either building the life you desire or pulling you further away from it. The person who understands this truth will examine their daily actions carefully. They will ask themselves if what they do today is bringing them closer to their goals or further from them. They will recognize that every small decision matters, that nothing is insignificant when compounded over time. The future is not determined by luck, by talent, or by external circumstances. It is determined by daily habits. A person who takes control of their habits takes control of their destiny.